going to be I'm going to be giving a little presentation on how to definitely develop a short course from someone who has definitely totally developed a short course. I'm actually in the process of developing a short course. So this is really more of a discussion and a self-analysis of my own methods at this point. So I'm open to queries and criticisms and comments at the end of the presentation. I'm developing a short course on Shillelagh, and yeah, I'm going to walk you through how I've done that and my considerations for it. So the first consideration that I've taken was the environment around me and around us here in Melbourne. So starting with, are people interested to know about the information that we want to share? And the answer is always going to be yes, because we're always going to want to know what someone else is thinking, even if there's a minute little nugget. There could be a minute little nugget of gold in there. And so I've always taken that approach to other short courses. There could be something from a small sword background that you haven't studied that could be really crisp once integrated into your own fencing. So we all want to hear your take on the different sources. The other things to consider are who you're planning on teaching to, what they might already know, as you might have to go over the basics of how to stand, how to hold a sword, if you're teaching to the general public or if you're teaching to your friends who have already been trained. Who else in the area is teaching potentially that source, so then or a similar source. So if you're going to be teaching a short course on a niche saber source or something like that, who else is already teaching saber around? Don't let that stop you, but build on what they teach, and you can in effect stand on their shoulders and add more to the community, even if that is only your interpretation of the same source. So all of us here are approximately second, third generation HEMA fighters. So we have got a lot of foundation below us, and we've got a lot of space above us where we can build. So don't let anything that anyone else is teaching stop you from teaching as well. So us, we, and our biases. When you write a course, make sure that you note them. I think we've briefly sort of mentioned before that we all have our blind spots based on what we've learned and what we're going to learn. So with respect to writing a course, I'm an engineer, so I like to take an analytical approach to things. Now that might not suit some people, but make sure that you get to the details of what you're going to teach. Is my comment there. And as using myself as an example, I'm a broadsworder, a longsworder, a side sworder, and I've done rapier fighting. I know that is going to flow through into what I teach, and it's important that we all recognize what we have learned and how that might influence what we're going to teach. And of course, be sure to let your students know, particularly if it's only a short course and they might not know you, it's important that they know what you might be missing. So comments on the source, TM, and conveyance. You're not going to solve fencing in one short course, as much as that would be great. Short courses are really they're a gateway drug to detailed study. I've always found them as an encouraging jumping point that gives you a base to start from, and then you jump into a source or a dense manual from there and carry forth your study. So making sure that your source is just that, the source on top. It's not a thick, dense meatloaf that you're trying to shove down someone's throat in a week, because particularly with some of the more dense sources, some of the finer details might get lost over like a 4-class short course or something like that. And that leads into us being teachers, presenters, and storytellers. It's important that we convey our material in a way that doesn't put people to sleep. It's important that we develop the skill of presenting and providing for our students Having passion for your topic definitely helps, but it is, of course, always a skill that you're constantly developing as a teacher. So to get into the nitty gritty of my process, TM restricted and copyrighted, I've broken it down into, I've decided to have 2-hour classes, and I've just written that down into Excel, and then I've just started adding the important things from there. I started with the parts where I'm not going to be actually teaching. So things like water breaks, very important. Things like the salute, very important, particularly depending on your culture that you want to foster. It's and of course the warm-ups. Now there's some examples there: circle and stretch, sword catch game. Those are shorthand for things that I know, and we'll lead into that. It will lead into that in the next slide. But just here, it breaks down very quickly that you won't actually be teaching for too long, particularly as the detailed teaching happens when you do your explanations, and then if any questions happen, and the rest is just letting your students work through the material you've provided. So 2 hours turns into not a great deal very quickly.
And sadly, neither does 5 minutes. David, you're out of time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Damn, I thought I timed it better than that. Okay, I thought I'd talk too fast. Well, main key points being, remember to hydrate, go through your details, and make sure that you write down the details and work through it beforehand. Account for as many things as you can, including equipment, left-handers, odd numbers, wet weather. You might miss something, but you'll have the bandwidth to deal with it when it pops up, and refine and practice it. You'll iterate on your schedule, you'll figure out what the correct order to present things in is, and you'll also be able to do a safety check of certain drills if you're creating something new, or if you're just presenting something that you haven't before. Also, just do it, because we all want to hear what you've got to say. Thank you.